I didn't expect the room to go silent when I stepped into the chapel, but it did, because of him. My father, sitting in the front row, arms crossed, jaw tight, waiting for the moment he thought would break me. He believed I would walk the aisle alone, humiliated, trembling under the weight of his absence. He had no idea what was coming, and I let him sit there, confident in his cruelty, because I wanted him to see everything. I grew up thinking my father was a mountain, solid, unshakable, unbreakable. He taught me how to ride a bike, how to stand up straight, how to speak without fear. But somewhere along the years, he began confusing respect with payment, love with leverage, fatherhood with debt. The first crack appeared when I got my promotion. He congratulated me, hugged me, and then asked for money before he even let go. But the real fracture, it came 3 months before my wedding. He invited me to the old cafe we used to go to after school. Same table, same corner seat, same father, only colder. He leaned back, sipped his tea, and said the words so casually that I almost missed the venom in them. "You want me to walk you down the aisle? I want $10,000. I laughed at first, a nervous, confused laugh, but he didn't blink. 10,000 to perform a father's love? I stared at him, waiting for the punchline that never came. That's when the shift happened, not in him, but in me. I didn't cry, didn't argue, didn't beg. I simply nodded and said, "Thank you for telling me," because he had just revealed something important. He wasn't a father anymore. He was a transaction. And I don't pay for love. I didn't tell my fiancé, not because I wanted to hide it, but because I needed clarity. I wanted to see how my father behaved when he thought he had the upper hand. He avoided my calls, ignored my texts, told relatives he was teaching me a lesson. He expected me to crawl back. Instead, I prepared. I arranged seating so he'd be in the front row, right where he could see everything, right where he couldn't escape the moment. And the night before the wedding, I finally told my fiancé. He didn't rage, didn't curse, didn't storm out. He simply placed his uniform on the chair, pressed the medals flat with his palm, and said, "I'll handle it." When the music began, every guest stood. Except him. My father stayed seated, arms crossed like a man waiting for a show. And then, row by row, chairs scraped the floor. Uniforms stood tall. 50 U.S. Marines in dress blues rose in perfect synchronization. My father's head snapped around. Confusion first, then discomfort, then panic. The Marines stepped into formation, creating an arch of gleaming swords, steel catching the light like a silent promise. A ceremonial honor reserved for respect, for loyalty, for family. The very things he refused to give. My fiancé took his position at the end of the aisle, not as a groom, as a commander. And my father? His face drained of power, of superiority, of that smug belief that I needed him more than he needed dignity. He watched me step forward, surrounded by honor he never earned. As I passed him, I glanced at him once, just once. His eyes were wet, not from pride, from realization. He understood, in that single moment, the depth of what he had thrown away. He could have been beside me. He could have held my arm. He could have been part of the chapter he always claimed he deserved. Instead, he became the man sitting alone in the front row, surrounded by witnesses to his pettiness. And I walked forward through an arch of steel and loyalty, knowing I had chosen people who valued me, not priced me. He didn't stay for the reception, didn't send a message, didn't apologize. But I didn't need him to. My revenge wasn't about hurting him. It was about showing him what he could never control, my strength, my choices, my family, the one I built, not the one I was born into. And as I left that chapel with my husband's hand in mine, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: relief. Because I finally understood. A father's rejection can break you, or it can free you. I chose freedom.